Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Robert Laird, and I'm here in a very sunny and beautiful Garden Grove, California today. And this is Reliv Business Success Training, and we're just excited about what's going on with Reliv and um, all of the gifts that have been given to us through Reliv, whether it's through feeling better through the products, having more financial flexibility, making amazing friends, going to go to amazing places. And all of this came really because of a hard thing in our family's life. And that was my mom had a massive stroke about 12 and a half years ago. And through the search for something better out of that stroke came Reliv. A lady from her church called her up and said, hey, try this stuff out. She did, and she got fantastic results, which led to Lauren and I hearing about these products in this business as well. And what I heard when we got started 11 years ago was a business opportunity. I heard a way that we could help people and get paid for it, and that seemed like a good idea to me. I worked in the nonprofit world for most of my life, and always liked the idea that that you could make a life helping people, and just discovered that it was a lot harder to make a living while making that life. And Reliv came along, and I realized the more people I helped, the more the more money I could make, and that seemed like a good business model. So I jumped in at that top profit level, and we've earned a check with Reliv every month since, and we've loved what Reliv's done for us. As a side benefit, we've also gotten some pretty incredible health results. We were in our mid-20s when we started the products, and Lauren's a very active performer at Disneyland, and she is more active in her mid-30s than most of the kids I see around in their late teens. And I just have I just have stamina and energy, and no more allergies today, and that's just a fantastic thing too. In fact, yesterday I was doing the math. I just flew back from Florida, and I got up at 6 a.m. local time yesterday morning. I went to bed at 1 o'clock local time here, which would have been 4 o'clock in Florida. And I got up this morning ready to go, and I think we're going to work on the yard today, and we're going to have a great day. But we love the life that Reliv has given us, and we love to pay that forward and share it with us. I will note that Lauren's not on this morning because while I had a however many hour day, somebody can do the math for me, she also had a 19-hour day, and she had to drive. And so when she picked me up at the airport at midnight this morning, so I was like, do you need to sleep in the morning? And she's like, yes. So Lauren is probably still asleep, or she might sneak on halfway through. We'll see what happens. But rest is important as well. So this is business success training. It's all about helping people. As I like to say, our business model is really making friends and helping our friends have better lives. And some of the fun part of that is getting to hear what's going on in people's lives. So who's got something exciting going on that they'd like to share this week?
Robert, this is Roger.
Hey, Roger.
Hey, I'm excited about the new promotion that we're in. I think that's going to be great. It's completely doable, you guys. And if we just work a little bit each month, get a little bit of points each month, we'll all be going to some exotic place together.
That is absolutely true. And that's what I love about it, is it's completely dependent on me. It's completely dependent on you, and we can do this. Cool. Thank you, Roger. Anybody else got something they're excited about?
Hey, Robert, it's Jim.
Hey, Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, had a pretty good month last month. Of course, everyone probably knows by now that there was a small little bump in the retail volume of the products, about basically $1 a can, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everybody trying to avoid that increase, and so we had a significant bump in our personal group, and or basically all the way around. And this month has still gotten off to a pretty good start. So and I think Reliv just did that mainly for shipping costs keep going up. So they just I'm assuming that's probably what it was. So they keep the percentage the same on the shipping cost, but they just bumped up the retail volume a little bit to cover that. But anyway, irregardless, we love the products, and that's just the cost of doing business sometimes. So it's, you know, a small increment here and there happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been interesting. We've noticed a bump as well. And one of the things that's been fun for us is seeing how people are getting results with the RLV line. And so I even know on Thursday night, I think, one of our friends was over here testing out the hemp balm under her eye for some sort of reaction she was having. And it's been fun because pretty much, I want to say almost every Tuesday, I missed this week, but before that, almost every Tuesday, somebody was coming in and either getting a new result at the meeting or sharing a new result that they'd seen personally or right next to them. And that's been really exciting to watch as these products just continue to get better and better through the years. And it's thanks to the foundation of those original products and the integrity of the products that we've had through all these years. Anybody else got something they're excited about?
Hey, Robert, this is Roger again. Just a quick note, along with what Jim said. I was talking to Tom Pinnick this last week, and he said that our September was 26% over what it was a year ago.
Wow. Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
That is really impressive. That's unprecedented when you think about it. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Roger. Anybody else have something they're super excited about? All right, well then we will move on forward. As I mentioned, this week I was in Florida, and let's make this work. There we go. And one of the things I like to do every time I go on a plane is grab a book and start reading. And Bob Iger, who's the CEO and chairman of the board for the Walt Disney Company, literally, I think a day or two before I left, released this book called The Ride of a Lifetime, Lesson Learned from 15 Years as CEO of the Walt Disney Company. And I picked it up expecting it to be a history lesson of his tenure at Walt Disney in the last 15 years. And it really wasn't. It was really a leadership book told through the story of his entire career, which I wasn't expecting at all. And as I was reading this, I couldn't stop turning the pages. In fact, I finished the book by the time I reached Florida, and I was going out for some events that were happening at Walt Disney World. And I couldn't stop but think like how much of this was great advice, not just for life, but for business. Like both of these were super applicable. And so I thought I would share a couple things, or one of the big things that came out of that book for me as I was reading it, and I actually reread part of it last night on the plane. But the big thing that Bob Iger talked about, or one of my big takeaways from him, was the importance of looking forward. And that really, the story that came out of that was when he became CEO. He actually, before that, was the COO. And the CEO at the time was a guy named Michael Eisner. And Michael Eisner, at the end of his career with Disney, basically had a string of really bad things happen. And you can get all into who did what and how and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, Disney found itself in a situation where there was threats of corporate takeover, and this is about 14 years ago. And they were in a place where they just weren't what they felt like heading in the right direction. And so Michael Eisner gave his resignation. He was going to be gone in 12 months or something. And so they started doing a CEO search. And Bob Iger threw his hat in the ring and basically was told by most of the board of directors that there's no way in heck you're ever going to become the next CEO because you're more of the same. You're part of the problem of what's gotten to us this where we're at in the current place or current time. And so then he went through this extensive process of basically a job interview, and he was up against people like Meg Whitman and some other really big names in the business community. And the thing that he did differently than everybody else is when he got asked about the past of Disney and all the mistakes, he always said the past and the mistakes are always going to be there, but I would rather talk about where this company is going in the future in what my vision for the Walt Disney Company is. And so he always pivoted from the past to the future. And it really got me thinking about the power of forward thinking. And these are just a couple of things that the power of forward thinking does. But it helps you create momentum in your team, and it also creates a forward focus. And Bob Iger, that's funny. But our Bob once said that what you focus on is going to grow. And I started thinking about that. And I started realizing there's a similar trend or a similar thread that runs through all of these great CEOs. And a lot of them are visionaries, forward thinking. They work hard. They get into the office early, things like that. And I'm going to hit mute if I can find my mute all. Okay. But they all have similar things that really indicate to me they're forward thinkers. We could do this. We will do that. We are going to go this direction. So forward thinkers, this is just a little bit about them. They invest in themselves, and a lot of this is from his book. They read, they think about the future, and they actually take time to think about the future, which I think is really cool. They're not just they're not just on occasion being like, oh, that would be nice someday. They're actually structuring into their day time to think about the future. So Bob Iger gets up at 4:06 or something like that every morning, and he sets time aside. I think he said he has 2 hours before he gets into his phone, gets into his email, gets into the newspaper, where he can literally just dream and think about vision for where the Walt Disney Company is going to go and where he's going to go. They learn from the past, but they're not dwelling on it, which I think is an important thing to do, because we always need to learn from the mistakes we've made in the past. But that doesn't mean we need to kind of sit in them and let them eat us away or eat at us or whatever that is. They're always striving to make tomorrow better than today is. And that's something that I thought was interesting with Bob Iger is so often we think of Disney being this perfect company and everybody has to be perfect. And one of the things he said multiple times is like, I'm dealing with creative people. I don't want them to be perfect. I want them to be the best that they can do. And that was an interesting thing to read as well. And they're always seeking to improve themselves, and they focus on the positives. There's so many things in life to focus on that can be disheartening or sad or whatever that is. But I mean, I think actually Jim had a prime example this morning is we could focus on the fact that the prices went up a little bit. Or we could focus on the fact that September was up 26% over a year ago. So $1, I don't know how much that is percentage-wise of our product's price, but I don't think it's 26%. And that's massive growth. And you start thinking about where this is coming from, where a year ago, Tom was saying, hey, a year from now, we're going to see some massive growth happening, and people are really going to see their lives changed because of what we've got on the horizon. And now we see that horizon. We're getting to see a glimmer of what that really is going to be. And daylight's breaking. And I can only imagine, I'm excited to see what's going to happen a year from now. I know we've been doing more special events down here to harness that and really be a part of the momentum that's going on. And we're trying to build our vision of having at least 100 master affiliates in Southern California in the next year or two. And that's a big goal, but it's a vision, and it's a place that we're going to. And we're going to focus on those positives of, hey, we got 2 new this ones, or we got 5 new people to this one. And that's how we're going to get there. How to be a forward thinker? First off, do what both Bobs do. Intentionally think about the future. Spend some time. I don't know if you've done this, but I've done it, and it's really been a fun and enlightening thing, is just stop and think about the future. And you think about where things could go, where things shouldn't go, where things would be fun to go, what really, as Wendy Stokes says, lights up your Christmas tree. And think about that, And out of that, write out some goals. And don't be afraid to try new things and innovate. Maybe you want to do a breakfast business opportunity meeting instead of an evening one on Tuesdays, or there's different things you can try. But as you try them, don't be afraid to revise your plans to make them more effective. Evaluate everything you do so that you can be better at it the next time you do. You try something new. Huge thing, reject fear. One of the things I decided with this trip is I was going to try to make new friends every day. And I make friends fairly easily in general, but I decided I was just going to be more intentional about it and make some friends. I made friends with a guy while waiting for the closure of a show on Tuesday night, Monday night, one of those. Anyway, a guy named Russell, and he's from South Carolina, and he has a wife and 2 kids, and he's on the band board of directors. And we were standing there waiting for this show, so we might as well get to know each other. And throughout the week, we hung out probably 3 or 4 times because I decided, hey, I'm going to try something different at Disneyland than I normally do. I often rely on DAPs because people will come up to me naturally, and I'm just like, I'm going to be proactive instead. And that's a little bit out of my comfort zone because I'm more naturally, I prefer people to kind of just meet in the middle as opposed to me really leaning forward into that. Also, if you want to reject fear and you want a good book on that, there's a book called Rejection Proof that we're reading here locally. That's for our local book club, and that is a fantastic story, I guess you could say, for how to overcome your fears and overcome your fears of rejection. Next, create a long-term plan. Know where you want to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Also recognize that can change, and that's okay. Build your self-confidence. Invest in yourself to help build up that self-confidence. You do that by focusing on your wins. Do that by stretching yourself, but not breaking yourself. And as you do that, always just do your best. At the end of the day, if you've said, hey, you know what, I did my best, pat yourself on the back, smile, and go to bed knowing that you've done something good and that you're going to continue to do things for good. Bob Iger said in his book, and this is one of his big takeaways, it should always be about the future, not the past. And that's really what he's done as he's led the Walt Disney Company as a CEO in the last 14 years. But even before then, he was always looking on the horizon of where to go next. And as Reliv distributors, we can be doing the exact same thing. And we've got an incredible opportunity with fantastic products, fantastic leadership, fantastic people that we can be looking to the future and dreaming about what is it that we want to be doing in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, or maybe it's 1 year. We want to go on that trip that Roger was talking about. So then let's get into the nitty gritty of how do we succeed with Reliv. We have a circle of success that we just keep rolling with fundamental steps. And that's how we build a business. And we keep it rolling by adding new people. There was a movie that Disney put out probably, 40, 50 years ago called Pollyanna. And it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's got Haley Mills. I believe it was her first film. And the opening scene, if I remember correctly, is a little boy. Basically, he has a wheel, like a bicycle wheel, that he's rolling down the street. And he's rolling it with a stick. And the way he keeps the thing balanced is it has to keep rolling forward. And if he were to stop, the wheel would fall over. And that's very much a good analogy for how our business works, is we need to keep it rolling. We need to keep investing new people. So think of every time you put new people into your business, it's helping spin that wheel and helping it move forward. And it's fueling your business with new people. Then we have fantastic support from the Reliv corporate team with the business cycle, the daily activity, that they've shown us a system that we do this system and we succeed. It's very simple. And then it's just a matter of honing our skills and working with other people to succeed with Reliv. So, circle of success, the key here is to take action now. It's not to wait till tomorrow. It's not to wait till next week. It's not to wait till the sun is shiny or something like that. It's to choose to start rolling that wheel today. So we have daily fundamentals that we'll go through really quick. They're identify, connect, share the story, ask for a decision, and register and go. First thing you want to do is identify people. This can be a fun thing, but it also can be a thing that slows you down. So you want to be intentional about it. You want to make a list right now, have 10 product prospects and 10 business prospects. Next to them, write why you thought of each. This is going to help provide purpose for the first contact and follow-up. It's also going to provide a motivation in your heart for why you want to reach out to these people. It's going to help make a connection of, instead of just a name on a page, it's a heart that's connected to your heart. And then from that, you're going to take it to the question mark of who are the first 5 that you're going to contact. Who are you going to contact today? I would contact all 5 today. And there's always going to be new people to talk to. Think about your family. You can always use Ancestry.com. Go find new people. Friends. There's friends everywhere, and there's friends to be made everywhere. One of the things I really became aware of this week is how many people are looking to connect. If you just look around and open your ears, there are people looking to make friends all the time. Bob Iger in his book also talks about how he and Steve Jobs became friends. And he said, it's really weird because in this stage in life, you don't really make new friends. It's harder and harder with each year that goes on. And to make a friend like Steve Jobs at this point in life was very special. And that's kind of a sad thing I realized when I was thinking about it is there should be, yes, those long friends that we've had for years and we love, but you should also be making new friends all the time as well. Work, obviously, you can meet people there. Church, school, social media, great place to meet people as well. I was talking with a guy that works on Main Street yesterday at the Magic Kingdom, and one of his coworkers walked up. He's like, well, how do you two know each other? And I said, well, his wife and I are in this group of social media people that lead that we would consider ourselves positive Disney influencers. And Jim was like, yeah, that's pretty much what they are. And so they met that way. And then they met at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World about 8 years ago. And we've just stayed in contact ever since. And you think that's all because we chose to have a positive impact on those spheres of influence around us online. It doesn't really matter where you find people, though. Just be proactive about finding ways to add to your list every day. Make a choice that I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes and come up with 5 people. Maybe it's through Facebook. Maybe it's through, it's that person I always see buying a newspaper at Starbucks. Whatever it is, just be proactive about adding to that list. And maybe make a goal of how many people you want to add to the list every day. And then as you go around, your heart and your eyes and your mind will be open to those different people that that perhaps you haven't thought of, hey, they need to hear about Reliv. Next thing you want to do is connect. This is a lot of fun. Review those 20 prospects with your upline and get into the who's first arena. And it can be very easy to stress too much about what do I say, but really what you say doesn't matter, is what you share. And what I mean by that is you want to share how you feel. You want to share that excitement you have. You want to share if you were to come into our house on a Tuesday night, it's all about the bomb. You're going to hear bomb puns. You're going to see people trying the bomb. You're going to hear people sharing bomb stories. There's an excitement about what this bomb is doing for people. And that's infectious. And so then it's easy to be like, hey, you got to come to Robert's house on Tuesday night and see what this stuff is doing. It's really making a lot of differences. And that's excitement that people can catch and want to be a part of and want to see firsthand. If you want to use their why, that lets them know you care as well. Hey, Caroline, I met her the other day also at Magic Kingdom, and it was, hey, you just mentioned that you're spending a lot of time working and trying to raise kids. What if I had something that could help you with that so you could spend more time with your kids? And it's really connecting with what their motivations are, not yours, and letting them know that you care. Then we've got all these company tools to validate. There's great videos now. There's posts, there's blogs, there's people, which I always think is the best. And the goal with this is to set an appointment or to bring them to a business opportunity meeting with you. There's a bunch of opening sentences you can look at if they're helpful. But really it comes down to whatever works and is accurate and in tune with who you are, that's what you should use. And then use the stories, use the tools to validate that. And for me, it's almost always, how are you? And then if I had something that could help you with that, would you want to hear about it? And that's really generally my approach. I've found that when I try to get more wordy, I just get stumbled up and I get whatever. But when I keep it simple, people know that it's about them. They're also doing most of the talking, so I can't mess up as much, and it just tends to work better. Next is sharing the Reliv story. This is a lot of fun. This is where you get to share your why, your belief, your heart, what you're excited about. And this is the part where they get to hear and see a little piece of what you see. You don't want to hose them down. You don't want to give them the whole 31 years of Reliv day by day. But what you do want to do is share the big picture of, this is what the products you're doing. This is what the business is doing. These are who are leading the business that are amazing. And this is how the products in the business are helping people who can't help themselves with the Reliv Clogers Foundation. And if you share all of those elements of the Reliv story, you're letting them choose what's going to connect with them. And you're giving them the opportunity to be excited about a business. Or maybe they're excited about the Reliv Clogers Foundation, which we've discovered at times too has been a motivating thing. Or, when you've got products like ours that are so ridiculous, people are going to get excited about them, and they are. So you can use the opportunity book, you can use slides, videos, you can go online, you can use webinars, you can have a really loud car drive by you. Sorry about that. But any of these work. We were talking the other day, and I was talking about how much fun I had when I went up to help Louise Cole in Washington, and we couldn't get the slides to work, so we ended up doing a business opportunity meeting where everybody opened the opportunity books. And we've gotten so reliant on digital down here that I'd forgotten just how good those books are and how valuable it is to have something tangible that people can take home and they can look at and they can ask questions about. And that's just a fantastic tool to use. But whatever works for you, use it. And the way that it works the best is when it is used. So introduce your upline or other Reliv stories. We love to share the different stories of Reliv. I'm thinking about our room on a Tuesday night of the different ages, the different types of stories, the different excitements, and that's what connects with people. We can give the best presentation on the planet, and almost every time it's going to be, oh, this one story reminded me of my mom, or oh, this one story made me think, hey, maybe this would help me too. And it tends to be that the connections that are made that really get people get excited about Reliv and becoming a part of Reliv don't just come from the presentation. They come from a conversation before or after, or they come from a story in the middle that gives somebody hope, or maybe it just gets them excited about what possibly could be. I always notice how often people are, when you ask them how they're doing, there's this one guy at Vaughn's. I don't know if I'll ever actually connect with him because he's an interesting guy. But every time I ask him, how are you doing? Oh, man, just living the dream. And he kind of says it in this sarcastic meets Eeyore way. And it seems like he kind of likes his job, but he kind of hates it. He kind of wishes he was doing something else, but he also doesn't really want to talk about it, which is fine. But you start thinking about how many people do you go through that, oh, I'm just trying to get through to the weekend, or oh, I'm just trying to get through this shift. Oh, just 4 more hours and then I'm off. And I hear this all the time. and you start thinking about the possibilities of, like, what if you were excited to go out and do something today? What if you were excited that your weekend doesn't matter because you had so much fun helping people throughout the week? Or maybe it's just because you felt good this week. Your feet didn't hurt. I think of Terry, who literally was having a hard time walking, and then she starts taking these products, and a month later she puts her feet on the ground barefoot and it doesn't hurt. And that's a game changer. You think of how much happier you can be when it doesn't hurt to walk than when every step is like needles pinching up through your feet. That's the power of the Reliv story. It's giving people hope. And no awesome presentation or explanation of Reliv will ever replace the power of the hope-giving power of a really heartfelt story. There's different ways that you can engage with people with the Reliv story. There's Reliv meetings and events. There's a few of them coming up. Make sure to check out the website regularly and see if you want to go to one that's near you or one that you want to travel to. There's in-home parties, there's webinars, conference calls, your upline, obviously. There's other distributors, which fantastic resources as well, the Lifestyle Magazine, Reliv blog, and video tools, which I love the video tools. They've gotten easier and easier to use, and to me, that's just one of those things that I want to keep using because I want to keep encouraging them to do more. Recognize that you don't have to know it all. Be honest and use Reliv's built-in system to educate and validate. If people are asking me sciencey questions, I love that I don't have to know all the answers, because we can call up corporate together and ask, hey, what do you know about this? And I'm going to get help. Or maybe I'll call up somebody, Jen Eves always seems to have an answer for things like that as well. And so there's always a way that you don't have to be the expert. And the advantage of you not having to be the expert all the time is, one, you can be an expert in just one area, which is a good idea. But two, it shows people that there's a support system that they don't have to be an expert either, that they can, as they get started, see success without knowing everything, because there's that support system that's going to help lift them up and carry them along as they work their business. Next, ask for a decision. This can be the most intimidating part, but can also be the most fun part. This is where you want to be ready for whatever comes next. And this is also where you want to test your self-discipline. Because when you've gotten to this part, you're going to ask them a question. Maybe it's, so what did you like best? And then you're going to let it be silent. You're going to let them answer next, and you're going to let them answer for them. This is where they're going to tell you what they want. And they might want to be a master affiliate. They might want to be a customer. They may not want anything, and they might want you to talk to their aunt. Any of those things are okay, but this is the point where we have to have the self-discipline and care for them enough to let them make the best decision for them. And so you ask the question, and you let that silence happen, because probably what's going on is they're thinking, what do I want next? I've just heard a lot of information. I've just heard some incredible stories. I've just met some incredible people. And if you rush through this part, you're really doing them a disservice. If you can just slow down, take a breath, count to 20 in your head, whatever it is, and then count 20 again, if that's what it takes. You can really, this is one of the best ways you can show that you care. And it's also one of the best ways to set somebody up for success as they're moving forward. So they're going to tell you what they want because you've waited and you've let that awkwardness just happen. And that's okay. And sometimes it won't happen because you might be like me, where I remember I was asked, so what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to do that master affiliate thing. Like, I knew right off the bat, the moment I saw it, that's what I was going to do. But not everybody's gonna have that instant like knowledge of, this is where I'm going to go, this is how I'm going to do it. And that's okay. When they have made that decision, be ready to move forward with whatever decision they make. Have products and tools with you at all times. Be comfortable with the website so that you can show them where to go if they want to order, if they want to watch the get started videos, whatever it is. Have a recommended order that's ready for each option. I love that at the end of the presentation slides now, they tell you you can start here, but here's our most popular for both the customer level and the distributor level. And these are our two most popular distributorships. And then be ready to help them register. We almost always, when we're registering someone now, it's going to be through an iPhone or an iPad. How cool is it that we can literally just scroll through our phone and sign people up? And usually you'll see people around our kitchen peninsula, because it's not an island, right after a Reliv meeting as they're signing up and getting started with Reliv, and that's a fun thing to do. So you're going to ask for products. Where do you want to get started? Wait, listen, let them answer. And then if they need help, they're going to tell you, hey, I don't know where to get started. What would you suggest? Well, these are the results that you said you're looking for. I like to start everybody on Now and Lunar Checks. If you start on Now, you're going to get results, and the Lunar Checks is just going to superpower those. Maybe they're interested in the RLV line though. Get them started on the RLV. What you want to do though is keep it simple and don't overwhelm. It's very easy to start adding into the list of everything that they need to order, and then suddenly they're like, oh, wait, I can't afford that. Get them started, get them results, and then if they want to add the specifics, do it. And then always look at ways that you can save on products, or if they're looking to build a business, we'll get into that in a second, but it's the same general concept. And through all this, always be asking, who do you know that can benefit from Reliv products? Who do you know that you'd like to share this with? Quite often at the end of a Reliv meeting, we've discovered people are like, oh, my mom needs to hear about this. Oh, my cousin needs to hear about this. And that's really exciting to watch that happen. For the business, it's the same thing. You want to ask them, what are they excited about? Where would they like to get started? Wait. And then when they've made the decision, you empower them to be successful with whatever that decision is. Get them signed up, then review the profit. Well, before you sign them up, review the profit options just so that they're clear. This is how this works. And if they have any questions, let them ask them, and listen to make sure that you are serving them in the best way possible. That's really our goal with all of this, is how can I serve whoever's in front of me to help them get success, serve for success, and then help them see their potential and help them select their best option. Our goal there isn't to sign up a bunch of master affiliates. Our goal there is to sign up people who are going to be happy and connected with Reliv for the long term. Let's also get them started on products too. Super Pack a good place to start, or would you like something more? Would you like to start with the bomb? I don't know. But get them started so they can start getting excited about their results and their momentum. So who do you know that might want to get started with a Reliv business? Be thinking about that too. Ask that question. Do you know anybody that you would have fun doing this with? Coming to Tuesday nights with new people, sharing the Reliv story, going on trips. We've got Dallas coming. I flew through Dallas last night, and I will admit I got a little excited flying over downtown Dallas thinking, hey, we're coming back here. This is going to be great. But start thinking about, hey, I'm excited to go to this Realif Live event. Who would be really fun to go with me? Who would be that person that's just a hoot when we're sitting out there waiting to go in on Friday night, and just would be a lot of fun? I always like to pick the most fun people. Then actually go through with it. Register and go. Help them with their product regimen. The real goal here is empowering them for success and helping follow up with connections and building that foundation. I remember we used to call this the wall of belief when we first got started. And every time that you shared a Reliv story with them and you made a Reliv connection with them, you were helping them add one more brick into that wall of belief. And the goal is to make a ridiculously strong wall of belief for people so that they can be successful and happy and healthy Reliv distributors. And so really you want to keep it simple. When they get their products, you want to follow through and help them get results with their products. Maybe day one, you're going to say, did you shake it today? And what I like to do is just kind of say, hey, how'd it go? And they're like, oh, it's good. I really like the vanilla flavor. Awesome. I do too. And in fact, I liked it so much that I thought I would have you share with my friend Louise what you thought of the products, just because you said you got results right away. And she would just love to hear that. Is that okay? Great. And then connect them. Follow up without connection is really just nagging. And so you really want to make sure that every time you're doing follow up and you're connecting with people, you're providing value to that call. And it's not value for you, it's value for them. You want them to know that you went the extra mile to get Louise on the call, or you went the extra mile to get Roger on the call, or you went the extra mile to get Lauren on the call. And that you care for them, because the more they feel cared for, the more they're going to fall in love with what we've fallen in love with Reliv. Day 3, hey, you've been on the products for 3 days. How are you doing? What are you feeling? What are you excited about with these things? And people will tell you what's working or maybe what they're struggling with. Either way, you want to know. And either way, it's an awesome opportunity for you to connect them with somebody else in Reliv and help them see a bigger picture with each call of what Reliv is. Day 10, you don't have to wait for day 10 anymore. Results are what you're seeing so far. Maybe it's what more results are you seeing? When you get people seeing results within 30 seconds or a minute because of the bomb, it kind of has changed the game a lot. But throughout this whole process, you want to be community building. Successful organizations are built through successful community. And that was one of the things I could have gone into a full thing on from Bob Iger's book as well, was he talked about the importance of building people up and putting the right people in your group and really empowering them and embracing them and building up what they're good at. So through that, you want to build them up and help create that community and connections. And then also be asking, who do you know? Who do you know that would be excited about this too? Who do you know that would be excited about building a business opportunity? Really what it comes down to, though, is these are just guidelines, and everything we do really should be about connecting with people, about caring for people, and about helping them achieve their dreams and their goals. Same thing goes for distributors. You want to do what you've done to get to the point that you're at. You want to help them identify. You want to help them connect. You want to help them share the story. Do the calls with them. Set the appointments with them. Be an example of like, hey, this is how you can build a Reliv business. And then make sure that you also go through the basics of running the Reliv business as well. It can get confusing if you're brand new of like, well, what's this button do? What's that one do? This one says training and this one says slides. What's the difference? Help them know where to go find different things on the websites. Be an expert at the website. Play around on it. You're not going to break it. And then they can feel comfortable about navigating the Reliv website as well and get started. And I love that actual web page, reliv.com/get started. I think it's a fantastic thing to check out and to go through, because there's fantastic resources there. Make sure that you've connected them with your upline so that they can know, or maybe it's sidelines and friends in Reliv, but so that they can know that there's always someone to call. Maybe you're in a meeting or you're on a plane or whatever it is, and they can't get a hold of you, but they want to know something about the business, or they want to share the story with somebody, and then they can call somebody else instead and always have that support. The goal here is to always help the new person feel supported, even if you're not the one that can support them at every moment. Also, make sure they know how to connect with distributor services, because they're another support element that's right there for you and right there for them. And they're fantastic. You'll always have a good phone call with them, and I've had some fun conversations with them through the years. Then review the Reliv system. Help them know what you know. Part of the Reliv system is training. Help them realize that they're going to get good at this by hearing how different people do this business. Every person is really a mix of other people's distributorship styles. I think of through the years, there's things I pulled from Quila, there's things I pulled from Dana, there's things I pulled from Wendy Stokes, there's things I've pulled from Tom Moody that are a part of who I've become as a Reliv distributor. And the only reason I can do that is because I've heard these different trainings from different incredible Reliv leaders. And there's many of them on this call as well. And that's where, as we're focusing on building businesses and filling our pipeline with new people, those new people that as they come into the business also need to get on trainings like this so that they can do the exact same thing and they can help empower new people as well. Then we've got the Reliv tools. There's a ton of them now. There's no shortage. So it really comes down to pick the ones that you feel comfortable with first, and then stretch yourself and try something new. Maybe you start with flyers because those are comfortable to you, or maybe it's your personal website. So share that a little bit. And then be like, hey, this week I'm going to try a video. You know, try something new and build off of your successes and use these tools that are being made for us because they are made to be used and they are made to support your business as you're moving forward. Just remember this though, a tool will never replace a heart. What you say with your heart is always going to be so much more important than any brochure, any video, anything like that. Because as you show people that you care, that's what's going to really get people excited about Reliv, because then they're going to see what we know to be true is that Reliv is a different company. And it really is a different company than all the other ones because of the hearts behind it. We have superior products because people care enough to make sure we have superior products. We have a superior business model and superior business because people care enough about other people to make sure that our business, just like our products, are better than everybody else. And it's because we care about the people that are taking the products, we care about the people that are doing the business, and it comes from a place of helping others. That's really what's predicated on this whole business, is other people and helping them have better lives. And that's really where the greatness of Reliv has come out of, or has come from day one. Then there's the Reliv system. You know, there's all of these different cycles that you want to go through to help yourself be successful and then help other people be successful. And that's really funneling them into this system. It's the daily activity, which we've gone through, which is presentation, in-homes meetings, upline, three-way calls, trainings, and webinars. You supplement that with the corporate support, whether it's the podcasts, the blogs, the support tools, the website, all of those things. We did an Instagram live on Monday night, which was really fun. But you funnel people into those so that they can see a kind of entry-level picture of Reliv, and then you help them see a bigger picture of Reliv at special events, and then you've got the conferences or the Realif Lives, where they get to see the big picture. They get to go up and they get to meet corporate teams. They get to meet Dr. Galvez from the scientific end of things. And they get to see kind of behind the curtain for how special Reliv really is. You get to see that it's not just something that people are saying, it's actually the lives people are living and the lives that are being changed because of Reliv and this system. And the best way to help people see what we see is by helping them get into this entire cycle in this support system of Reliv, of all of these different levels. We've got 2 new Reliv Lives coming. One's in Dallas and one's in St. Louis. These dates are wrong, even though I downloaded last night. Oops. No, we have both of them coming, February for Dallas and then summer for St. Louis. The registration is now open for Dallas, so plan on spending your Valentine's Day weekend there and get the people that you care about most there as well. And that will just be a fantastic weekend in Dallas, Texas that you won't want to miss. Then you want to engage your team. You want to develop your library of stories. You want to connect with, have those connections with upline, downlines. You want to have other distributors that you're working with as well. You want to have a handle on the tools in the Reliv system so that you can share it with other people. And most importantly, you want to build those relationships. To build ambassadors, you build relationship. And that's an exciting business model, if you ask me. That's a way to change the world. You look at different, I've been really trying to study this more in the last year, is what has helped other leaders really become successful. Whether it's Steve Jobs, whether it's Bob Iger, there's been, I'm trying to look around the room, there's a bunch of different names in the church community that have been successful. And one of the things that you notice very quickly is the relationships they build help not just one person, but it helps a network of people really be successful and be better off because of these relationships. And we're in network marketing for a reason. And I've always thought that the network is the people, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I've never actually researched it, but the strongest networks are going to come from the strongest relationships. So build those relationships. You want to stay engaged to what's going on with Reliv. You know, we have the monthly video that Tom sends out every month with the exciting news about the new promotions and also recognition, which is very important to do as well, both locally and on the big picture. There's calls, there's webinars, there's the blog, there's social media, there's the text. You know, connect as many ways as you can with Reliv so you never miss anything. Then you want to set goals. Stretch yourself with the goals and then help stretch other people with goals as well. Review that road to presidential director. Think, where is it that I want to go? Think forward. Think, where do I want to be next month? Think, where do I want to be next year? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? What do I want my organization to look like? What do I want my Tuesday nights to look like? What do I want my webinars? What do I want my group going to Realif Live looking like? That's something we talk about pretty regularly. Like, there's a culture that you get to build locally and internationally with Reliv that we get to be a part of that's changing the world for good and with positivity. You want to stretch your thinking and stretch other people's thinking as you're thinking about this. Be looking in your organization of who's going to be your next key director. And if you're not a key director yet, be thinking, what is it going to take for me to get to key director? And then you start thinking about the promotion that Roger was talking about at the beginning of the call, and you realize, hey, I can get key director and also go on a really awesome trip. That seems like a good idea, but start laying the groundwork for the possibilities for your organization of where they could be and where they could go, and help them look forward, help them see the vision of what could be. And that's really half of the game. Because if you have a really strong vision and you have a really strong why behind that vision, all of the negative things that get thrown at you during the day will just bounce off. You know, Tom likes to talk about have the attitude of a rhinoceros, where you've got the thick skin and you've got that horn on the front where you're just going to charge on through and nobody's going to stop you. And that's what we need to do as we're building a Reliv business. And then build a business that you want to see duplicated. Be intentional about this. As you're thinking about the future, what is the organization I'm building? What's about it that I would like to see happen over and over again? What about my day and my routines and my business cycles that I do on a daily basis would I like to see duplicated? What do I need to do more of that I would like to see duplicated? Think about those things. Think about what is the organization that I would like to see duplicated, and then be that leader, be that organization, be that forward thinker. Because when you're a forward thinker, other people are going to become forward thinkers. You're the Relivs on this. You're the Relivs. You're the leaders on this Reliv call. It's an awesome time to step up and lead just a little bit more than you did yesterday. And then tomorrow, lead a little bit more than you did today. Maybe it's through a call you do. Maybe it's through a social media post. Maybe it's through being very intentional about adding to your list today and talking to one more new person today than you did yesterday, or connecting one more new person to the system than you did yesterday. But build that Reliv distributorship that you would like to see duplicated, and always be asking yourself, who's next? And beyond asking the question, act on the answer. And with that, we can build an incredible Reliv company, even bigger than it is today, but an incredible Reliv distributorship for each and every one of us, and for so many people that aren't on here yet, that need to be on here. Be thinking, who also needs to be on this call? So with that, let's end the call 5 minutes early, because Tom always says start on time and early. So I've delivered on that directive from Tom. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic week, and let's make it a big week. Let's make it the best week, and let's make each day better than the last.